Hi, everyone. My name is Ellen, and I'm here with my peers, Natalie and Ashak. We are all a student in the American University of Armenia, and we are all a part in a CHSS Trust course. And today we are going to talk about college admissions bribery scandal and what relevance it has with trust, more particularly self-trust. So let's briefly understand what happened. This scandal is also called Operation Varsity Blue, and the charges of this scandal was made public on March 12, 2019 by the United States Federal Prosecutors. There were at least 53 people that have been charged during this scandal, and 33 of them were the parents of the college applicants. And they were also accused of paying more than $25 million between 2011 and 2018 to William Rick Singer, who was the organizer of this whole scheme. So let's now understand who was included in this scandal. The scandal included wealthy parents, college coaches, standardized tests administrators, and a college consulting company. And this scheme also included the practices such as cheating on standardized tests, for example, SATs or ACTs. It also included creating fake athletic profiles and also bribing college coaches to designate students as athletic recruits. Which universities were included? A lot of universities were included. You can see on the screen Georgetown, Stanford, Yale, USC, and so on. But the center of the scandal was USC, with several employees, students, and parents who were included and were part of the scheme. Other universities were involved with allegations of coaches being bribed to facilitate students' admissions as athletes. So now my peer Arshak will come and continue and talk about what this scheme has to do with trust, more importantly, self-trust.
Thank you, Ellen. So what does it have to do with trust, particularly self-trust? So social pressure, competition, emotional impact, and peer pressure has impacted on self-trust problems. To evaluate that, social pressure could be from both sides, as parents and student side. For parents, the social pressure can be that their children have to study at prestigious places, and society wouldn't understand it if they don't. As they are mostly famous people, actors, people of power, politicians, etc. Their children have to attend to prestigious universities. Thus, they had low self-trust in them and their children that they can be admitted by themselves in the universities. That's why they decided to bribe. And as for students is similar to this case. For students, social pressure is that other society tells that people, teenagers especially, have to get admitted from the first try and to the most prestigious and hardest university to get admitted. So that's puts them in a stressful situation and makes them want to cheat and be admitted no matter what. Competition is another thing that affected on trust issues. As in those universities, it is very hard to get admitted. There is a low availability and low chances of getting admitted. Parents and their children had low self-trust in them that they could do it without any outside help. That's why they decided to cheat and do it with bribery or any other fraud ways. Emotional impact is another aspect. It can refer to past traumas. For instance, let's imagine that one of the parents in their past years, when they were teenagers, wanted to get admitted into prestigious universities, but they could not succeed in doing so. So they put a goal in themselves to help their children to get admitted to those universities, and the ways that will do that does not matter, including bribery and other illegal stuff. Uh, that's why, because of their own low self-trust, they decided to put their children in a difficult position. And another emotional impact is anxiety. Many people think that, many students, teenagers think that because of their anxiety and outside pressures, they wouldn't be able to uh, give the SAT test, receive a good score on their SAT or TOEFL or other tests. That's why they decide to not even try doing it by themselves and just bribe. And last but definitely not the least is the peer pressure, particularly the FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Uh, in nowadays, social media plays a critical role, and many teenagers can see their friends, peers, and other people of their age studying at prestigious universities where it is very hard to get in. Thus, they get kind of jealous and do not want to miss out on this opportunity, and try to get in any ways, even if they cannot succeed in doing it in a legal way. So the consequences of these trust problems can be very different. The first and the most obvious consequence is the bribery. Because of low self-esteem that parents and students had in them, they decided to bribe coaches and other university staff to get admitted, which is, first of all, illegal. Secondly, it caused many of the coaches to get fired because they took bribery and didn't go accordingly to the student code of conduct of their university, and staff conduct, privacy policy, otherwise. Another consequence of this trust problem was the financial damage. Many corporations and even individuals was financing the universities because of their good work, let's put it this way. But after this incident, they stopped their financial support to those universities, which caused them a lot of problems. And another consequence is reputational damage. Uh, Obviously, when a university is involved in any kind of scandal, their reputation would drop, as well as the parents' reputation, who, as I mentioned before, were mostly famous people and people of power, politicians, actors, etc. So their reputation dropped significantly after this incident, about which I'll talk later, and obviously legal consequences. As it is obvious and we all know, bribery is illegal and it may cause a lot of problems. Even you can get into the jail because of bribery. And about this, I'm going to also talk right now. So more evaluated about reputational damage. The USC was the most affected university out of all the universities mentioned before who had part in this scandal. their reputation dropped from 26 to 40 just in 3 weeks, and then from 24 to 16 during that same period. So they took a lot of reputational damage, and many people and students voted against going to that university because their name got out as a university that takes bribes and admits people unfairly. So let's talk about legal consequence, more evaluated. So Douglas Hodge was one of the most paid one of the most largest amounts of fine between the parents. It was $750,000, and also 9 months of imprisonment and 5 hours of community service. Michelle Janvas paid the fine of 250,000. She received a sentence of 5 months in prison, 2 years of supervised release, and 200 of community service. Devin Sloan is another famous person who paid a fine of $95,000, received a sentence of 4 months in prison, 2 years of supervised release, and 500 of community. However, parents weren't the only people who faced legal consequences because of those scandal. A lot of coaches, including Michael Center, got into 6 months of prison and paid a fine of $60,000. So it wasn't only for parents, but coaches and student staff too that it had legal consequences. And now my peer Natalie will present the other part of our presentation.
Thank you, Arshak. And now we're coming to part when we are discussing proposed solutions and actions. So we had a variety of interesting points where we can discuss solutions and actions, but we chose these three. First is review and revision of policies in universities. Second one is creating support networks and membership programs. And the last one is collaborating with educational organizations. Let's first discuss the first one, review and revision of policies in universities. So, universities must evaluate and change admission policies to increase control and transparency. Stricter changing methods for admission staff, combined with a clear institutions of reporting channels, that can help prevent future cases of fraud. Developing institutional frameworks make sure ethical principles are built into all aspects of the admissions process. Now we're coming to part when creating support networks and mentorship programs. So for students impacted indirectly by the scandal, emotional support is very important. Creating support networks and membership programs help students navigate the admission process relatively. By providing information and resources, institutions may minimize the negative consequences of false admissions on deserving students, the students that are actually worthy to study in that university. So now let's see the adverse effects and what it can cause. Firstly is emotional impact, then we have, of course, loss of trust, psychological effects, opportunity cost, and long-term consequences. But what is it? Firstly, false admissions can have terrible consequences, and for instance, students feel cheated and depressed, having lost of faith in the system they had previously trusted. Secondly, it affects trust in the fairness of admissions, casting confidence on the process. Then we have our psychological part when it causes disappointment, depressed. Or even depression, which affects academic achievements and mental health. Then, wasted opportunities as a result of dishonest activities change the course of students' lives, and even it can affect their future life and future goals. These negative consequences highlight the critical need for support networks and membership programs to assist worthy students in in these changes and challenges and limiting the impact on their academic journey. And last but not least, we have collaborating with educational organizations. Collaborating with educational organizations to to have some kind of standard admissions criteria is essential. So by minimizing biases and ensuring equal opportunities for all students, institutions contribute to a more equitable educational landscape. Advocating for policy changes, prioritizing diversity, inclusion, and even anti-corruption measures is crucial in preventing future scandal. So all of this promotes fairness in admissions for all students to have the same opportunity, to have the same studying process. Okay, thank you. Then this is our reference list. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. They will be answered. And yeah, this was all.